Hi everyone, my name is Camille Adams and I am one of our registered dietitians here for the YMCA of Greater Grand Rapids. I'm so excited to film our Cook It Up recipes. Cook It Up is a program that we sponsor here at the YMCA. We go into elementary and middle schools all around Grand Rapids and we bring fresh produce and funky recipes that these kids may have never tried to those schools and those kids. We have instructors that go into our schools and they teach, just like you will see me teaching here, how to make functional recipes that will last for life. We also try to put a healthy twist on everything that we do, and I'm super excited to be here today. Hey everyone, we are cooking it up again. I'm so excited to be bringing you more recipes. Today we are making corn and black bean salsa. This recipe is very approachable, which means it's easy to make, it's healthy to eat, and almost anyone will enjoy this recipe. Let's talk about our ingredients. We have black beans and corn. I am using canned corn and black beans today as it's a lot easier and a lot more people can find those products. I've already pre-rinsed and drained them under some water in a colander, so always make sure you do that before to get off anything that would be sitting in the can. Sometimes it can leave a little bit of a taste. Running it underwater really takes that away. I've also washed my hands and all this beautiful produce that you see sitting in front of me right now. We're going to use some green bell pepper, tomato, some white onion, fresh cilantro, lime, and we got some great yummy tortilla chips to dip it in afterwards. So let's start cutting. Today we will start by using some tomatoes. We're going to use a Roma tomato today, but any type of tomato will work. Again, we're going to be using knife safety today. So always make sure your hand is in the claw shape whenever you go to cut something. With our tomato, we are going to be dicing it. We're going to be dicing everything. And why we're going to be dicing today is because we want our produce to be around the same size as our beans and our corn. That's kind of the whole point of a salsa, is that everything is around the same shape, so you're getting everything in one bite when you eat it with your chips. Let's cut and dice our tomato. Sharpening your knives is really important when cutting tomato because tomato can be very hard to cut. So having a sharp knife will really help and make sure you don't cut those fingers. So I'm going to start by cutting it in slices. And then we can dice from there. Tomatoes are so healthy for you. There are so many different types of tomatoes, which always really fascinates me because I don't know, just to think that there are so many different colors. And of course, each color is a different type of vitamin and mineral. So always switch up what type of tomatoes you're using. I'm using bright, beautiful red tomatoes in this recipe so that we have a rainbow of colors, but they make green tomatoes. You can get tomatillos, which are often used to make a green salsa. Any types of tomatoes will do, but again, today I'm using Roma tomatoes. So I'm going to add these to our bowl. Now we can cut our beautiful green bell pepper. I'm going to use about half of this bell pepper because it's really big. Depending on the size of your bell pepper, use as much or as little as you would like. With bell pepper, again, we're going to dice this, but what I like to do is to cut it in strips and then cut it diced into little squares. We want this to be around the same size, like I said, as our tomato, our corn, and our black beans. Using green bell pepper in this recipe is really yummy because it's a little bit spicy, but not as spicy as a jalapeno. So that's why I said this recipe is very approachable, as a lot of people will like it and not say, oh, it's too spicy. I personally love spicy food, but I know that that's not for everybody. Another great part of this recipe is that you really just put everything in the bowl. I love recipes like that. Great, everything is chopped and diced. Now we can add it to our bowl. Always be careful whenever you're using a big knife. Again, I'm being very careful while I'm scooping it on and dumping it into our bowl. One of our last things to cut is our white onion. If you're using a large white onion, you can use half of it, save the other half for another recipe, or use a small white onion and then you can use the whole thing. So just like we said before, cut off all the stems and the tips. And then of course you want to peel the outer layer of the skin off. Our onion is peeled and ready to go. And there is a certain way, a proper way, to dice an onion, and I'm going to show you that today. So you take your whole onion, and you use your claw method, of course, and you cut it in half. You'll do the same thing for both halves. Put it down on the flat side and put your hand over the onion. Take the blade side of the knife and start making cuts, not all the way through, but about 3/4 of the way through the onion. Do it one more time, a little bit higher. Then you have your cuts. Turn the onion towards you and follow the lines that naturally occur on the onion and make cuts the opposite way. What this does is it makes sure that the dice shape that you get at the end is all the same. Sometimes when I go to dice an onion, one square will be really big, the other square will be really small. So this is a way to ensure that they all are the same size. I'm not crying. The onions are just strong. So it's okay if your eyes water just a little bit. If it gets too bad, you can always step back from your cutting board, but I'm very used to it by now. Great, and then just go over whatever little pieces that you need to. And now we can add this to the bowl as well. We are almost done chopping. Let's finish it up by doing some fresh cilantro, and then we'll cut our lime in half to put on later. I have a whole bunch of cilantro here, but I'm probably going to use a quarter of it. Cilantro, unlike parsley, you can use the stems. The stems are not bitter and they taste even more fragrant than the cilantro leaves itself. I think people are so afraid of the stems, and so they spend all their time picking off the leaves, which if you want to do this, totally fine. For me, I want to get it done. So I'm going to be using the stems, and they're super good. If you've ever used ground coriander spice, that usually has the stems in it as well. So I am just going to mince this. It doesn't need to be perfect, just small so that it can evenly distribute in our bowl. Before I wash my hands and clean my cutting board, I'm going to roll my lime to distribute all the juices and cut it in half for later. Now I'll wash my hands to get all the cilantro off, and then we can do our final steps. Yay! Now we've cut and chopped all of our fresh ingredients, and we are almost ready to eat this wonderful salsa. So here we have our onion, our cilantro, green bell pepper, and tomato. Now we are going to add our corn and our black beans. The black beans, of course, like the corn and all the ingredients, are gonna give us great fiber, tons of vitamins and minerals, but also some really good healthy plant-based protein. So this could truly be a meal or a snack because we have all components in here. Now that these are added, we can mix everything together. This can be eaten at any time of year, for any occasion. It looks great. And who doesn't want to eat food that looks pretty, okay? I always make sure my food looks pretty and people are going to eat it, I promise you. And some of the prettiest food is healthy because they're natural colors that are coming from our fruits and our vegetables. This looks so good. I can't wait to try a bite. Now we're going to use half of a fresh squeezed lime. Just go ahead and squeeze it on top of everything. This will really brighten it up. Lime, lemon, and all other citrus fruits are called an acid when we cook. And so what that does is it just brings everything together. One last quick mix. and I think we're ready to eat. Thank you so much for watching. This is our corn and black bean very easy salsa recipe. We have great ingredients in here, tons of vitamins and minerals, healthy protein, fiber, and it's super easy so a whole family or all your kiddos can put it together. I'm gonna try a bite on camera so you can all really know how good this is. Very crunchy. Thank you so much for watching. For the full details on this recipe, go to grymca.org under the recipes tab.